A little over a week ago, a former Anglican priest talked to the priests of Johnson County, and he posed the question, why are so many young people today joining these movements hostile to the traditional family? And he said, I think a lot of young people are looking for a way to define themselves. They're looking for an identity. They don't know who they are and what the purpose of their life is. Our gospel today touches on our fundamental identity. Jesus has repaid to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but repaid to God what belongs to God. Well, what belongs to God? Ultimately, everything belongs to God. God created the universe, but in a special way, we belong to God. In the Roman Empire, something stamped with Caesar's image meant that it belonged to Caesar. Well, what is stamped with the Imago Dei? What is stamped with the divine image? Well, each human life is stamped with the image of God. This means we belong to God. Think about if we really let that sink into our lives. It could really change our attitude. I mean, I don't have an attitude that, well, my life is my own, I kind of do what I want. No, I belong to God. My identity, my purpose, the meaning of my life flows from God. Now, during this month of October, we celebrate Respect Life Month. As human beings, we have an intrinsic dignity, a dignity that doesn't come from what we accomplish or do, but a dignity based on our very being, that we are made in God's image. We belong to God. We are His children. That's where our dignity comes from. All human rights are built on this first and most fundamental human right, the right to life. The founding fathers of our country recognized this in the Declaration of Independence. So first among the inalienable rights is the right to life. So if I'm going to pursue liberty and the pursuit of happiness, I must first have the right to life. After 47 years now of legalized abortion in the United States, and nearly over actually 60 million abortions, we have a glimmer of hope in the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. If she is confirmed, there is a real hope of overturning Roe versus Wade. But this won't actually abolish abortion in the United States. It will send the regulation of abortion back to the states. Now, sadly, if our Kansas Constitution is not amended, Kansas could become an abortion mecca. People will actually travel to Kansas for an abortion. Remember just last year that our Kansas Supreme Court claimed to have discovered a right to abortion in our Kansas Constitution. For all intents and purposes, this now effectively wipes out all the pro-life legislation that has been passed in recent decades. Kansas is now alongside New York as one of the most radical pro-abortion states. The only way to remedy this is to amend our Constitution here in Kansas. It's a twofold process. First, 2/3 of our legislators must vote in favor of this life amendment called Value Them Both. And then once that life amendment is placed on the ballot, it's going to be up to Kansas voters to vote in favor of the Value Them Both amendment. This year's local elections couldn't be more important. Lives are literally at stake. In his recent Levin article and video on voting, Archbishop Naumann reminded us that the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops identified the protection of unborn children as the preeminent moral priority for 3 reasons. First, abortion attacks the most vulnerable and innocent. Second, abortion occurs within the family, destroying the most precious bonds between parents and their children. And third, the sheer number of human lives destroyed, nearly 1 million annually. Now, at a recent Presbyteral Council meeting, Archbishop Naumann said, okay, as Catholics, we're not just concerned about babies being born. We're also concerned about the parents, about women in crisis, and we're concerned for the welfare of children after they're born. One of the reasons I'm preaching all the Masses this weekend at St. Michael is to introduce 2 new initiatives here at St. Michael. The first is called Walking with Moms. Now, you may have seen the banner on Knoll that says, "Pregnant, need help? We are a Walking with Moms parish." Walking with Moms is a program to accompany women who are in a crisis pregnancy. So this program actually offers training to parishioners to become what we call angels. And these angels then literally walk and accompany women who are in crisis or difficulty. Another way we can help with Walking with Moms is to provide material support for women in crisis. So if you're interested in providing that support, connect with our Respect Life Committee here at St. Michael. Finally, Archbishop Naumann has asked all of our parishes to be sensitive to providing for the needs of children after they're born by supporting foster care families. The statistics are sobering. There are 7,500 children in the Kansas foster care system and only 2,000 foster care families. This means children sometimes are sleeping on the floors of an agency office, or they're being moved around from family to family, staying just one night with a family before being moved again. Teens who age out of the foster care system without a stable foster family are higher risk for homelessness, incarceration, teen pregnancy, and becoming victims of trafficking. To be truly pro-life, we must ensure that every child has an environment where he or she can thrive. As Catholics, we're called to be part of the solution. Okay, what can we do? Well, first, I'm asking parents in our parish to really bring to prayer. Could God be calling us to be foster parents? Secondly, we can surround foster care parents and foster families with our love and support. So again, we can provide material and emotional support for them. We can also provide respite care for foster care parents. So if you want to go through training to provide that respite care, that's available. Finally, in a sense, we can become like an extended family to these foster parents. Do you know 50% of foster parents quit within the first year because they don't feel supported? We can be part of the solution. Today we celebrate that we belong to God. Each human life is sacred. We're made in God's image and likeness. Now, being pro-life doesn't mean just saying, well, okay, yeah, I'm pro-life. It calls us to action. It means being a voice to those who have no voice. It means accompanying women in crisis. It means surrounding foster families with our love and care. Pope Francis said, our parishes are called to be islands of mercy in a sea of indifference. Thank you for your support of being an island of mercy.